Hey, what up, y'all? Welcome to the Runaway Slave Project. And on today's episode, we're going to talk about LLCs and DBAs. What are the differences between the two? What is an LLC? What is a DBA? And which one is best for your particular situation? But before we get into that, I must give a quick disclaimer. I am not a tax professional, I'm not an attorney, and I'm not a CPA, and this is not an attempt to give out any kind of legal, tax, or financial advice, okay? I'm just an average person, done a lot of research, done a lot of reading, but honestly, I graduated from W.T. Hall High School, aka Aldine Night School, okay? So take my advice with a grain of salt and seek professional consultation. And I know JT Pocket Watch is probably going to kill me for saying that. If y'all follow JT Pocket Watcher, do not forward this video over to him because he's going to kill me for saying that. But let's get right into it. Now, let's start off by answering the question. What is a DBA? DBA stands for doing business as. Now, you may also hear this be referred to as a fictitious business name or an FBN, a trade name, or an assumed name. Okay. Now, essentially what it is basically a nickname or an alias that will allow you to conduct business, open bank accounts, market yourself under a different name from your legal entity, whether we're talking about your personal name or another business entity. Now, when registering the DBA, what you're basically doing is you're letting the state know, you're letting the courts know that you, yourself, John Smith, you are doing business as ZZZ Burger Joint DBA on behalf of yourself or another legal business entity. Okay? And essentially what you're telling them is that the business and your personal self are one and the same. You guys are pretty much the same entity. So any debts, any legal issues that this company goes through, guess what? You are personally responsible. You are liable for everything concerning that particular business. Now, like I said, it's the easiest way to get into business, but it's the least expensive. I mean, $15, like I say, $15, fill out some paperwork, you out the door. But you have no personal protection. So let's say you have a food truck, right? One of your employees serves somebody a bad burger. That person gets sick. They go to the doctor. They're going to come sue you. They're going to be able to get everything tied up into your business. Business checking, business savings, any equipment, any investments tied up into that business, all of that is on the table. But not only that, when you only have a DBA as a sole proprietor, they can also come after your personal belongings, your home, your cars, your personal investments, your Dogecoin, your Bitcoin, all of that. Because you've already agreed that you and this entity are one and the same and you are accepting full responsibility. Now, in business, you want to make sure that you protect your personal assets and your personal livelihood. How do you do that? Very easy. LLC. That's where the LLC comes in. So LLC stands for Limited Liability Company. Not corporation, like I hear a lot of y'all saying, but Limited Liability Company. And what this means is, what an LLC essentially does is it basically acts as that layer of protection in between your personal assets and your business assets. So, in that same scenario, somebody comes to sue you for whatever faulty business practices or whatever, they can come after everything that's tied up into your business. Equipment, bank accounts, investments, anything tied up into that business. But they cannot touch your personal assets. So your homes, your cars, your real estate investments, your Dogecoin, all of that stuff is off the table. But we got to put an asterisk by that because there's this little thing called piercing the corporate veil, which I'm going to probably go over in detail in another video. But I mean, basically what it is if you don't draw that definite line in the sand between your personal finances and your business finances, the courts can come after you personally. Okay, you just have to make sure that when you're paying yourself, you pay yourself the correct amount of money. Make sure that you're not trying to get over on the system. Okay, so and like I said, we'll talk about that in a later video. But the LLC is the way to go, simply because you do have that protection. Now, I hear people all the time on YouTube spewing false information, saying things like,
you should form an LLC instead of a DBA for the tax advantages and the tax breaks.
And that is false. I mean, literally, if you have an LLC, by default, you are considered a sole proprietor, and you're taxed as a sole proprietor, just like somebody who has a DBA. So you having an LLC, you have no tax advantages, or there's no big tax breaks that you're gonna get that somebody with a DBA is gonna get. It's literally, you're both the same in the eyes of the IRS. You're not a tax structure. You are a legal business structure. Has nothing to do with the IRS. The IRS considers you both disregarded entities. Okay, so yeah, I just had to dispel that, and that's half the reason why I'm launching this channel, because it's so much false information out there. And what I do on the side is I assist people with launching businesses, trying to get their business off the ground. That's what I do, and I hear these questions a lot. So that's why I'm here. So what are the differences between the two? Well, if you were to go the DBA route, like I've already said, very inexpensive, very easy to set up, very easy to maintain. There's no maintenance involved. So, like I said, you pay $15 in most cases, most states. You pay $15. You go to your local courthouse, fill out some paperwork, and you're good to go. And you also don't, with the LLC, you actually have to pay in Texas. This is only for Texas. Do your own homework for your own state. But in Texas, you pay a one-time state filing fee of $300, plus you pay whoever you use, whatever service you use to actually file that paperwork. You'll pay them whatever you pay them. But for the state, you pay $300, plus you have to have a registered agent. And what a registered agent is just someone who will be receiving any kind of legal documents, tax documents, anything concerning the business. They will be receiving that mail on your behalf. Now, you can be your own registered agent, but I don't recommend it, because this address will be public record. So you also don't have to worry about any operating agreements or any of these other guidelines and policies and things that the LLC has to abide by. DBA is very easy to set up, yes. But the LLC, you're getting that personal protection. You don't have to worry about being sued and them being able to come after your personal assets. Everything is protected. So that's the trade-off. Yes, you're going to spend a lot more money up front, but in the end, it's going to save you a lot more money. All right, so let's talk about your specific situation. Which one should you choose? Now, back to my disclaimer. I'm not a professional, and I'm not trying to give you any professional advice. It's just my opinion. So, in my opinion, I would always go with an LLC. Okay, simply because you have that asset protection, which you're going to need. Like I said, in business, it's not a matter of if, but it's a matter of when you will be sued. Okay, so always protect yourself. And I hear people saying all the time,
well, if you don't have any assets to protect, or you don't own your home, and you don't own your car, you don't have any investments, you may as well just do a DBA.
And it's like, in my head, I'm like, who in their right mind is getting into business without the presumption that they are going to make money, or they're going to accumulate some assets, in the near future? That's what people are getting into business for. They're getting into business to make money. So you want to lay the foundation down first, have everything squared away before, the inevitable happens. So, and I compare it to building a house. It's like, when you build a house, you lay your foundation first, then you start putting up walls and roofs and stuff. But think about, if you don't have your foundation, the first storm that comes through is going to blow that house away. So always go with an LLC, especially when you're first starting out. Now, you're probably asking me, well, who is the DBA for? What is the purpose of a DBA? In my opinion, the only way I would register a DBA is if I already had an LLC and I was looking to do business in the same industry, but market myself under a different name for another business. So I'll give you the scenario. Let's say we're using the food truck, right? You have a burger truck, ZZZ Burger Joint, LLC, and you want to branch out and do something else. Let's just say you want to do tacos. Well, instead of forming an entirely new LLC, you have the same employees, you got the same equipment. You're not just the same owner. It's not nothing is changing hands. It's the same business structure. You can go ahead and just register a DBA on behalf of that LLC and save yourself some money. You know what I mean? Because you're only doing it for marketing purposes. That is the only way I would form a DBA. Okay, so hope you guys found some value in this video. If you did, hit the like button. Definitely share, subscribe, and comment, all that good stuff. And we're going to see y'all on the next go round. Peace.